would like to talk to you guys about how often your baby will go pee. This is something that I get asked all the time because once you take the diaper off and there you've started EC, it's literally that simple. What what can you expect? I mean, how in the world would you know how often a baby pees if you've never done EC before and you maybe just found out about me and you're just like, "Whoa, I don't even know what the reality holds here." So, I'm going to give you a range. Newborns starting at every 10 minutes, all the way up to 18 months, going up as high as 90 minutes. Some of you guys might have babies who are holding it for 4 hours at that age. Very rare, but definitely a possibility. And then poop. We're going to talk poop. Okay. This is pretty simple. If you're in any of my programs, I have these brand new programs that are divided up by age. They go in way more depth than my book. My book covers everything as if you're starting at any age, 0 to 18 months. These programs, which is the first one is the Golden Window for newborns. The second one is Movers and Shakers for mobile babies. And the third one is Passing the Baton for young toddlers, where we kind of start and finish. So I break it down really, really detailed, but not too long in those. And all of those programs come with this really awesome map. It's a roadmap of what to expect during EC. So these are excerpted from those programs. All right, first let's talk about newborns, 0 to 2.5 months. We're going to have about 10 to 15-minute intervals between pees. The good news is your baby's going to be sleeping a lot. Not that we want our baby asleep all the time because we definitely want to hold and cuddle and do all that, but we're also recovering our bodies as well, right? We don't want to be pottying all the time. With a newborn, as I state in my program, and I also mention everywhere else I talk about this, we really want to go for the wake up pees. And if that's all you catch, that's great. We're going with nature here, and that is the way it works. We have hormones that support this, and it can really make you feel success. But know that you're probably going to nurse or feed when they wake up. And at a newborn age, within 5 to 10 minutes after nursing, you're going to have another pee. So sometimes, and it depends on how long your baby takes to nurse. Obviously, every baby's different. But then after that one, whenever after you nurse or feed your baby, after they've woken up, you've pottied them, you put them on, they're eating, they pop off the breast or the bottle, or maybe they have their first fuss after feeding. That's a signal. You should probably take them to potty then. But from then on, I kind of go for every other one because it's a lot to be pottying between every 10 to 15 minutes, right? With poop at this age, we've got anywhere from 17 times a day to once every 7 days. That's for an exclusively breastfed baby. With a formula fed baby, and absolutely no judgment here. I understand some people have to use formula, some people choose it. There's no judgment here at all. But it's going to change the poop. The poop will be different with a formula fed baby. It's going to be more regular because you've got the same formula every time. Breast milk actually is produced based on what your baby needs right now. There is this interchange of information between your breast, your nipple, your areola, and your baby's mouth that communicates somehow amazingly exactly what your baby needs. If they're sick, if they're developing in a certain way or whatever, they need a little bit more of something one day. Your body knows that and gives your baby that. So that is why the poop will vary with a newborn baby. And the color will range from yellow to green, depending on if you have fore milk or hind milk. Okay, so 10 to 15 minutes for peeing for newborns. At 3 to 5.5 months or so, you're going to go up to about 15 to 20 minutes. Every 15 to 20 minutes of pee, you still are totally fine to go for every other one if you want to, because that's quite often. This also depends on the baby. So if you want to get my app called The Log with a little poop emoji, you can get that and you can do observation time and find out your own baby's unique timing. But this is an interval that's pretty common in our audience. Poop also varies if you've got an exclusively breastfed baby, just like with newborns. Now, at 6 months, oftentimes we have started solids at this point. I have a great interview with Katie of the Baby Led Wean team on my podcast if you want to check that out. That's one way of starting solids. And also, she talks about what indicators you would follow to know if you should start solids. But around this time, they're going to be peeing every 20 to 30 minutes. And they're going to be pooping daily if they're on solids, typically. And again, this is an average, but 1 to 2 days every day is good. If it's more than every other day, less often than every other day, or less often than every day, you might have some bouts of constipation, which I also have a podcast on that. We want babies to be as regular as possible. Every day is ideal. And if the poop is a little bit soft, that's ideal as well. Hard poops hurt. So it's just better to have softer poops. At 9 months, we're going for about 30 minutes average for a pee. So every 30 minutes on average. And again, when they wake up, it might be more often. Oftentimes the baby will partially, relieve their bladder, and then a couple minutes later will relieve again. And that's covered in my book as well. It's pretty normal. If they've started solids, they're probably going to be pooping daily. Now, at 1 year old, we've got about 30 to 45 minutes as the average interval for pee and poop happening daily, because I'm assuming we're started solids by then. 15 months old, every 45 minutes to an hour for pee, and then also poop daily. And if they're occupied and busy with some kind of work, children's work is very important to them and their focus is very important, they will usually hold it longer, but they'll also hold it longer if they're around other babies, other children, and other people. If they're in a social setting, this interval could expand. Now, at 18 months, you've got about 45 minutes to 90 minutes, so an hour and a half for pee intervals. This is way different, right, from newborn till then. That's because the bladder has grown. The bladder is born with good muscle tone. So that's a myth that says, oh, it needs to gain muscle tone as you go. No, your babies are perfectly formed when they're born. It's just going to get bigger. It's going to have a greater capacity. And also the nutrients from whatever you're feeding them are going to take a little bit longer to go through the body because the body's bigger, but also because we're eating and processing more complex foods at this point. And again, poop will probably be daily at this time. So that is a little snippet about how often your baby will pee. If you want other information broken down by the stage that your baby is currently in, definitely check out the programs at godiaperfree.com/store. You can click on programs and you will see the programs there as well. Hopefully that helps.